So for this project, I decided to make a painting using Egg Tempera, which turned out to be a really straightforward process that didn't even require any store-bought art supplies whatsoever. Everything I had was either in my fridge or in my spice cabinet. As you can see, it only took eggs, dillweed, paprika, tikka masala curry powder, and some red, green, and blue food coloring. And not listed here, or not shown in the picture, I did have some all-purpose flour that I wound up using to thicken up a lot of the paints. So as far as making the paints, it's very straightforward. Just break an egg, separate the yolk from the white, and then just put the yolk into a bowl, break it, and then add either a few drops of food coloring or add your powder into it. And for the dill, I did have to blitz it up because it just wasn't fine enough and it wasn't really mixing well. But from there, I got 6 distinct colors. The yellow, green, and blue were just using food coloring and egg yolks. Then the tikka masala and dillweed, I added a little bit of water to those and then mixed them till they were a thick paste to get the deep forest green and the brown there. And then back left, the red one is a mixture of red, food coloring, and paprika to help kind of differentiate it from the tikka masala curry because the paprika did look very similar to it. From there, I just wanted to set up a very simple still life. I got some kind of Rembrandt lighting going on so I could have very well-defined shadows. And then here I only went over I made a quick sketch, mostly just silhouettes, and added in just very light notes of where the deepest shadows would be. Because I only wanted the darkest shadows because I knew it would be hard to shade with these paints. And as you can see here, I did a little tester, and you can see what I mean. It was really hard to get things going initially. It didn't work out at all. And the consistency was just all off with my paints. And so that's why I wound up adding in a lot of flour into the paints to kind of thicken them up, make them a little bit less patchy, more consistent. And so here you can see on the right, that lemon's looking a lot smoother, a lot more consistent. And also it dried quicker, so I was able to kind of layer more paints over top of it and shade it a little bit easier. So this was just a little sampler that I did. And once I was pretty happy with the consistency of the paints, I moved on to the final thing. As you can see here, I started off with just all of the base layers, let those dry, and from there I went over with the thicker colors, the much chunkier ones like the curry powder and the dill. Those ones took a lot longer to dry and were a lot harder to work with, so I wanted to do those last. And you can see here they add a really fun texture to the image, and they also added a bit of a smell to it, so I really like the effect that they have. And overall, they weren't too hard to work with, and I would highly recommend giving this form of paint a try.